ensure that there is connection, ensure that there is similar belief, you are believing the same God. It's very important.
And then says can two work together
except they agree. All right, so this is important. And I'm not, then you move it further to somebody not just being a church goer. If you are a Christian, let this person be a Christian that knows God, that has dedicated his or her life to Christ, and you can see that fruit manifesting. Because if you both are not in tune in that part, sometimes it's going to be a problem, and it might tear you apart. So I would say that if you notice that it's not working, it's not flowing, you don't share the same faith, the same belief, I would say you should have a second thought again about the relationship. Because today we want to talk about why you should get out of that relationship.
Wow, that sounds brutal.
It's brutal, right? Why you should move on from that relationship or leave that relationship.
That's
leave or something,
But get out. I was like, Jesus, who's pushing?
Nobody's pushing. Anyway, so but guys, you get what I'm trying to say, because sometimes there are certain things you just know that you just need to move away from. Right?
Some relationships are not just well. They did say that a broken courtship is better than a broken marriage. So, not all relationship is going to live with marriage.
Sure.
And then you have to understand that and have peace, make peace with that.
That's just it. The truth is that I've had several people reach out with different scenario. Either certain things is not just working, they are not just connecting in certain ways. The relationship just been a back and forth, not purposeful, and the person just know deep within that he should actually leave this relationship.
Can you cite an example?
Well, I wouldn't want, but let me just cite. A more maybe one recent example would be like a guy reaching out to say, okay, he wants to live in this city.
Yeah.
He wants to work in this particular city. He has somebody that is dating. The person doesn't even have a job or something. The person is in another city, but she's saying that she wants them to get married and live in that city where she is, where she has no job, she has no source of income, but she wants him to move to that city, whereby he lives in another city where he has a job, he has income, and that is what he's even using to send to her. But
so if they don't have a job, how would they fund the marriage?
That's just like a little, there's more to that story though, but I'm just trying to say, you can see with that, there's really no alignment. The lady says she's not ready to move. Is the guy going to leave the job in a city where there is more opportunity to come and stay with her in a city where she's staying where there is no? And she said they can get married, he lives in that city, work there, come weekend or something to come and visit her there.
What's stopping her from like moving to the city with him? Like if you get married, most of the time it's even the person that has a low paying job that usually should move because of course it's a family.
Yeah, but this one she doesn't even have a job. Anyway, guys, that's just like, since my wife wanted so that it would be more practical in a way, I just shared. That is just like one of recent examples of certain situations
that around, to like deal
like,
with
okay,
can't tell people about.
And like, I mean, if you guys cannot come into a middle ground, you can't compromise, like a healthy compromise and agree on something. I mean, I would advise that if you need to walk away. Stop holding on to something that wouldn't work. You have discussed over and over. The person said no. You said no, you can't leave your job and come to that city. The person said no, I cannot move on. How do you want to start that kind of marriage? Living in two different cities. The other one does not have a job. What you are receiving is not something heavy. So you'll be paying rent in one big city and rent in another city again.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense. I don't see sense in starting
but the way
life that way.
Personally, I feel like, location should not be a deal breaker, especially when we're talking about relationship breaking up when it does not work. I was looking at something more fundamental, like your belief system. But you'll be very surprised though that something as little as, I've heard the story of toothpaste breaking up a marriage because the man wanted to press the toothpaste a certain way, and the lady wanted it done a certain way, and then a big argument started, and then they just couldn't resolve it, and then they had to break up. Or something as basic as lights switch going off and on, and then someone wanted to sleep with the light on, and then another person wanted to sleep with the light off, and then it just did not work. So you'll be very surprised that people break up for a lot of different reasons, and then you can't blame them, because, well, marriage is supposed to be something like permanent, forever. So if you can't agree on some certain things before the marriage in a relationship, that it just makes sense to just go your separate ways and then just move on.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, that point in all we said thus far is around compatibility.
Yeah.
How compatible are you people? Like in your values, your interests, even your faith beliefs and others, you know, you look at what is that compatibility between you people. Do you share the same value? Do your interests even complement? Do your ideologies and philosophies about things, about money, about life, do they even complement? Because it begins from there. If you are with somebody that you're always quarreling over so many things unnecessarily, I'm not saying in relationship there are no times where you have little argument, right? But almost everything, you know, you are quarreling about different things. Your philosophy about money is different. Your philosophy about giving is different. Your philosophy about purpose, chasing life, serving God, or faith, or religion are different. I want to say you should look into it well again, because I mean you could be heading towards a disaster. So
a shipwreck.
Yeah. So if you don't feel that there is that compatibility, it's always a lot of argument, a lot of issues, and you can't come to a common ground. I don't think it's wise to enter into a marital relationship that way, because you are heading towards failure already, even from the beginning. Alright. Yeah.
And then one thing I've discovered is that lack of communication between couples can be a reason why you can break up. So if both of you are constantly speaking different language in such a way that you seem not to understand each other. So for example, you have an argument, you're quarreling, and then he's handling it from a perspective of, well, why are you getting angry at this issue? And you are like, you are reacting to the way I am reacting. You are not even trying to fix the issue, and then before you know it, you keep going back and forth in circles, just trying to communicate and understand each other. Well, it might be something to break a relationship over. If it just seems like both of you are not on the same frequency, you're not speaking the same language. You can't resolve your conflicts by yourself, so you have to always call a third party that will explain to you that, oh, this is what your boyfriend meant, oh, this is what she meant, and then it's just something that keeps going on and on. You might want to take a second look at the relationship, and if it's something that you should eventually lead to marriage.
Yeah, so in that communication, I just want to add that, you know, different places that we grow up, different culture that we grow up, all depends on how, you know, sometimes we talk. For example, if you grew up in a barrack where, for example, where I spent some of my life, you know, you hear things like, you dey crazy, you dey mad. It does not mean the person is trying to tell you that you are mad.
Yeah.
It's just trying to, like, you know,
friendly.
to be, you know, not friendly, but it's just trying to, like, you know, what is doing you. Do you understand that kind of thing? So it just depends. Somebody overrating they do you. Do you understand? And someone will take it and like waiting they do me. What do you mean what is doing me? Do you understand? So it's just that way. I'm just trying to, like, you know, certain level of communication. There are people you are with that when you just talk, like, you are being jovial, but the person won't see it as being jovial. Right? There are people I've seen guys that are, you know, people that are dating, that when they want to greet each other, is how far, wait till they do you now, you know, like they talk to each other in a way that you would think they are insulting each other, but they are not, you know. It's just the way they connect. You know, so that's the way. If you meet a lady that grew up in a city like Ajegunle in Lagos, or maybe Oshodi or Mushin, you know, like the way they will communicate, the way they talk is a little bit rough than maybe somebody that grew up in in Lekki or staying in London, you know, or something like that, or maybe grew up in the US, you know, the speech might be a little bit different, you know, style of communication and all that. So so that's something to do. There are people that no matter what you do, you won't just flow.
Yeah.
If you say something, they will hear another thing. So, if you say something, they may take offense in it.
Yeah.
So you can't joke freely because you are afraid of how you are going to take it, the meaning you give to whatever they are saying. I would say you should watch that. It's a very, very serious red flag, yeah. And you might not do well so much together. Well, another thing will be trust issue, right? That's a major problem.
No,
a big problem.
A deal breaker.
A deal breaker. You know, like you are in a relationship where you don't trust the person. You know, if the person is just saying "I" on the phone like this, your heart is going you know.
Maybe he's talking to someone else.
I mean, you need to look at it. You know, you need to check it well because I mean, it's a serious problem. Yeah. If you don't trust somebody that you are dating, you don't trust somebody you are in a relationship with, what is the probability that when you get into that marriage you are going to trust that person?
Wow,
marriage should be built on trust.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course there's an issue, you know, some times ago about a lady that was trying to engage and find out that somehow mistakenly, you know, people say yeah, it happened by mistake. All right, mistakenly she had you know, fell into an affair with a guy she wasn't in a relationship with, and she was in a relationship with a certain guy, but the guy was in another city. Okay. Right? So she went to confess to the guy, begged the guy. I mean, the guy didn't take it so nice at all. Of course, nobody would take it, so easily and stuff. And before you know, anytime there's an issue, you know, like the guy can't just let go, you know, he keep remembering it, he keep repeating it over and over. And
so every time they fight,
and the guy has begged, the guy has confessed, and the guy has told her that she has gone to God in prayer, she's so sorry, you know, the guy did bad, I'm not in support of that. But however, I just need to tell them at the time that, listen, you guys should be sincere with yourself. Do you think you can handle this? Do you think you can forgive the person and move forward? If you think the answer is no, and you've been struggling with it for the past how many months, the best thing might be go your separate ways, meet new persons, and then learn from the previous mistake and ensure that it doesn't repeat itself again.
Trust is like the foundation of your
very
relationship.
Important,
and if that is eroded and you feel like you can't move forward from that particular issue that you had, then it does not make sense. You can't live your life trying to follow someone around or see what they are up to. It will wear you out, it will wear the person you're in a relationship with also out. So if it's something that you feel like it's a deal breaker for you, then it might be just it might take you to actually take a second look at the relationship to see where it's actually going. And then I would also want to talk about an healthy relationship, like your emotional state or welfare in the relationship. Some people are in a relationship that they are being treated like a doormat. You know, the guy walks all over you, does things.
Some they are even being slapped, being kicked, being battered. Like you are in a relationship. Yeah. So I've seen relationships like that. I think there was a certain time I traveled to one city somewhere in Nigeria where I went to spend just some few weeks or so, and I saw that where, you know, the guy was beating the girl, like they're in a relationship, and he will beat her finish, drag her inside, and you still have sex with her, and she'll come out like.
So it does not make sense. I mean, so you have to prioritize your mental health. So if you're in a relationship that you're always crying yourself to sleep because of something he did or did not do, you know, or something she did or did not do, and all of that, you have to ask yourself, how long am I going to continue with this? You know, is this how I want to live my life? So you might want to like take a second look at the relationship and ask yourself, where is this relationship going? Do I see myself doing this for the rest of my life? You know.
Yeah, and also being in relationship with a consistently cheating partner. I use that word consistent. I don't want to just use cheating so that some people won't jump on me and say, but people can make mistakes, right? Yeah, I know these things doesn't fall from heaven anyway. before you do anything, there's a lot of thoughts that must have gone in also. You didn't just do it with somebody you're in a relationship with, that's another case. You went out and do it with another person somewhere, right? So cheating is something I don't really support, and I'll say that you need to look at that. If your partner is consistently doing that, and then you come and beg you, you know, and stuff.
He's always testing someone else. You are always asking, who is Bola today? Tomorrow, who is Shade? To next tomorrow, who is Lucy? My dear, don't give yourself a
you need to think it well, please. You need to think it.
You have to consider it. And then if you have other points that you think we've not added, that is like red flags.
Yeah, I think before we go, one important thing I want to leave us with also is a place of faith, your belief. Most times, you know, our belief in God, our faith, you know, people call it, some say religion and stuff, it shapes a lot of things about us. If you are a Christian, the way you think about life, the way you think about purpose, the way you think about certain things, the way you think about even life after now, it is different from somebody that is not a Christian, that somebody that is an atheist or a Muslim. All right, so you need to look at that, you know, ensure that there is connection, ensure that, you know, there is similar belief, you are believing the same God, you know. It's very important. And
the Bible says can two work together
except they agree. All right, so this is important. And I'm not, then you move it for that somebody not just being a church goer. If you are a Christian, you know, let this person be a Christian that knows God, that has dedicated his or her life to Christ, and you can see that fruit manifesting. Because if you both are not in tune in that part, sometimes it's going to be a problem, and it might tear you apart. So I will say that if you notice that it's not working, it's not flowing, you don't share the same faith, the same belief, I would say you should have a second thought again about the relationship. Because if your faith belief in God and in certain things is not the same, it's always have a way of affecting.
So thank you for watching our video today.
Thank you.
Let us know if you have something that jumps out to you as a red flag also in a relationship, and just drop it in the comment section. And then don't forget to like, share and comment. Please subscribe.
Help us to reach out to more people. Help us to bless more people. And I'm sure if you learn one or two things from this content, I mean, it won't do you anything. Just make sure you press the subscribe button and ensure that you share it with someone. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.